Welcome to Eternal Freedom. On the path of knowledge, we all know that everything that changes is not me. Everything that changes, everything that can be experienced is not me. And everything that can be experienced and changes is an illusion. That which is me is eternal, it's timeless, it's birthless, it's deathless. But even so, from time to time, we like to explore the illusion and like to understand more about different aspects of illusion. Sometimes it's for survival, and sometimes it's just for play, for fun. So today we picked a topic of energy. Everything we do, everything we get into has got an aspect of energy in it, or requires energy to complete. So this happened a few years back. At the time I had a Tai Chi master and I was doing Tai Chi. And one day my master talked about a demonstration that his Shifu had done for him. He had a number of doubts about energy, about Qi. And so one day his master, who we lovingly called Shifu, he said, okay, I want you to stand about 2 meters away from me. And then he had another person stand about 2 feet behind my master. So then he proceeded to do some Qigong exercises, and then suddenly he thrust towards my master, thrust his arm towards my master, and all of a sudden my master fell back, and fortunately the other person was there to catch him from falling. So that the force of that energy was such that he moved back almost 2 feet, 3 feet. Now, this is interesting and sounds almost impossible because my master is quite heavily built, and his Shifu, though, was probably half his weight. So how could a person with that kind of frail and fragile structure generate that amount of energy to move a person from a distance of 2 meters to about 2 feet? So that was an interesting demonstration, and what it brings to life is we all have this energy within us. That energy is waiting to be harnessed. And we don't know how to manage this energy. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the basics of this energy and how to manage it as well. The other aspect of this energy is that this energy comes to us from various forms, and we will explore those today. So firstly, with energy, just like any form, how do you lose energy? I think it's quite straightforward. You get into any activity that you perform, any physical activity you perform, you lose energy. And what is kind of interesting is that any non-physical activity you perform also depletes energy. So like thinking excessively will deplete energy. Emotional states, they deplete energy as well. When you become very angry, you become scared, you become happy, all of those generate energy, and they deplete energy as well. The other interesting thing that I observed was that when you talk, of course, that's depleting energy. But when you also criticize, when you criticize someone, you are depleting your energy. That energy is not only in the actual act of talking, in the actual act of thinking, you're actually generating certain processes within your body that deplete your energy. So that's just something to be mindful of when you're doing various activities. Now on the flip side, how do you get energy? The most common answer people would put forward is food. Of course, you eat food, you drink water, and you breathe air. That's enough to give you energy. Or if you take rest, sleep, you feel rejuvenated, you get energy. In essence, if you break food down into its elements, or you break down a human body into its elements, it's comprised of 5 key elements. Those elements are also the elements that transfer or that provide energy to the body. And how effectively you manage those elements through food or through water or through air is what gives you that vitality. Now food, there's already another talk on food, so we won't dwell into that around food, but suffice to say, what you eat, how much of it you eat, and when you eat, how often you eat, all of these are factors in determining the level of energy that your body has. So all of these need to be in balance. The other interesting part about these elements is air. So air is used to oxygenate your blood, and so it is in fact even more important than any of the other elements. For you can survive without water for some time and without food for some time, but with air you can't survive for more than a couple of minutes, or 3 minutes for some, or 5 minutes for others, but within about 10 minutes without oxygen, without your brain would be dead, right? So it is one of the most vital elements that is required to sustain your energy. Now the other question here would be that we've talked about how you can lose energy, how you can gain energy, but how do you know you have the optimal level of energy? And there are a couple of things that you can do. So when you ask yourself, how do I feel? Do I feel alert? Do I feel lethargic? You can use that as a test to determine what level of energy you have. The second test is more to do with the breathing. Typically, if you close your left nostril and you breathe through the right, and then you close your right nostril and breathe through the left, and you find that the breathing is the same from the left or the right, that means your breath is in balance. That means your energy is in balance. that means you at that point in time, you are in balance. Now in Tai Chi we have the yin and the yang, and in yoga we've got masculine energy and feminine energy, and there are different techniques around balancing this energy. And in yoga, of course, you have the 7 chakras or energy centers, and there are different techniques to open them, to manage the energy levels, etc. But in summary, when we look at these paths, they all require a guru or a master. So a word of caution here: you don't want to be getting into the path of energies without a guru. I have known people to go mad, people to have some extreme experiences which they have not been able to recover. So you can easily go crazy. So most important thing is to find a guru so that you can take the right path and learn the right techniques. And then if you have any side effects or impacts, you can go to the guru to get them managed. So on the path of the breath of course is a fairly important piece of maintaining this balance. And often you would have seen that when you're angry, you have a shallow breath, or when you are sitting, you're breathing quite shallowly, and then of course when you want to relax, you take a deep breath and suddenly you relax. So often, in order to get into this balanced state, the easiest thing you can do is to be observe your breath, be conscious of your breath. If it is shallow, try to take a deep breath, try to breathe from the navel as opposed to from the chest, and that itself will make you more centered, more balanced. We talked about food, so that's clear. And also not having food is another way to balance your body, which would be, or balance your energy. So that could be fasting. That fasting could be 12 hours, 18 hours, or it could be a couple of days. But again, you should consult a dietitian and consult a physician when you're if you've got medical conditions. Then of course with the breath, now you can use the breath to of course balance your body and your energy. But breath plays a very important role in terms of meditation, in terms of calming your mind. So I'll provide some basic kind of information here, but you do need to eventually see the guru if you want to go into the path of energies. So typically in the yogic tradition, or even in other traditions, non-yogic traditions as well, when people have mastered their energy, they have learned to master a couple of things. Firstly, how to transmute your energy, or convert your energy from different forms. So if you're feeling angry, how do you convert your anger into centeredness or into balance? How do you convert your emotional energy of fear, of anger, of sex? All of these energies can be transmuted, but for that you need to first of all learn how how to manage your energy. And how to manage your energy, there are different techniques. Different gurus have been teaching on, they are called Kundalini practices or energy practices. And one thing that is common in all these techniques is that there is a certain level of activity, intense activity, with intense breathing. Now, what that intense breathing actually does, it breaks that connection between your body and your mind, and it kind of just makes your mind thoughtless, right? And as soon as your mind becomes thoughtless, you then experience that state of bliss. Your ego disappears, you become completely centered, your energy is quite balanced, and most of these practices like dynamic meditation, Kundalini meditation, or even with Shambhavi Mahamudra and with Sudarshan Kriya, these are different names that different gurus, different people have been practicing. But of course, you need to learn these properly. But all of these have got this one common thing, that after this intense breathing, and that could be shallow breathing, intense shallow breathing coupled with deep breathing, and it gets to a point wherein your energy starts flowing through your primary channel, or the central channel, which is flows through the spine, and in that process you suddenly become thoughtless. And that state is that state wherein you get to the state of being. In the path of knowledge, we talk about, neither the experiencer or the experience. You are just experiencing, and you're in that state of being. So the intent of this path, of these paths of energies, is the same. Eventually you reach that state of being, and that being is a state of bliss. And once you do it, you might have you might experience that for a minute or two, and then gradually it sort of expands, and that bliss that you have is more powerful than the bliss that you would experience in anything, even sex. So eventually, when people are transmuting their energy or converting their energy, they're channelizing that energy, that anger, into this state of bliss. And once you learn to transmute it, then of course you don't get upset about being angry, being fearful, because you can straight away transmute this energy into this state of being and this bliss. Similarly, the sexual energy, which is a very powerful energy, it can be easily transmuted into this state of bliss. And this bliss lasts much longer than any other experience that you can have, and that is the purpose of this path of energies, to get you closer to your true self. So we'll stop here today. Hopefully that provides some basics around the path of energies. If you are interested in this path, of course, reach out to a guru, or I'm happy to recommend some gurus. But please do not embark on this path without the guidance of a guru. Thank you.